Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine. I am Kanika Tandon and I am here with the video of class 7th English 2nd. In our last video, we completed our chapter number 3 with the exercises and question answers of it. And also, the in-text question of chapter number 3 were remaining. So in today's video, we'll be completing the in-text question of chapter number 3 and also the explanation of the poem, which is the palm tree. So in today's video, we'll be writing the answers to that question. So if you open your page number on, if you open your book on page number 44, there is first in text question of chapter number 3. Why was the narrator hopeful of winning the race? How do we know that the narrator did not like being in the lane beside Suvira? So, the narrator had won the 800-meter race a couple of times in Calcutta. Though Suvira was a champion, the narrator had never raced with her and thought she might be better than Suvira. The narrator felt nervous when she realized she would be in the lane next to Suvira. She talked about the slight trembling that shook her dividing confidence. She also considered feeling a faint. I'll read the answer again. The narrator had won the race. The narrator had won the 800-meter race a couple of times in Calcutta. That was the reason because of which the narrator was hopeful of winning the race, because he had won a 800-meter race a couple of times in Calcutta. But the narrator was quite scared, or what do you call, he was quite nervous while the narrator knew that he had to run beside Suvira. So though Suvira was a champion, the narrator had never raced with her and thought she might be better than Suvira. So according to narrator thought that she could be better than Suvira, but she was very nervous about it. The narrator felt nervous when she realized she would be in the lane next to Suvira. She talked about the slight trembling that shook her dividing confidence. She also considered feeling a faint. Okay, so continuing our video with the explanation of the next part of the chapter, that is the poem Palm Tree. This poem is written by a very famous poet who is Rabindranath Tagore. He was popularly known as Gurudev and was born in Kolkata and was a Bengali. He is actually very famous for writing for poetry for childhood, and he was a very great philosopher, musician, painter, and he is actually more famous and more known for writing our national anthem, which is Jan Gan Man. Though he wrote it in Bengali first, then it was Sanskrit, then it was converted into Sanskrit. So in this poem, the poet wants to speak on the behalf of the tree that he thinks that the tree might want. Okay, so we always see the trees that they spend whole of their lives standing on a place without moving, but they do grow, right? They grow themselves and get bigger and bigger, but they don't move here and there. So according to the poet, the tree wishes for something more that we don't know. Okay, so he wants to think on the behalf of a tree that what he wants. So now we have to study what the poet thinks. Let us read what the poet has to say. The palm tree stands on one leg, sees past other trees into the sky. Now he says that the palm tree stands on one leg, and sees past other trees into the sky. Since the palm tree and all the trees have only one trunk, so the poet has considered it to be his one leg. And as the palm tree is a very tall tree, it sees itself growing bigger and bigger and getting higher in the height as compared to the rest of the trees. So he stand on one of his trunk, which is according to the poet is one leg, and then he sees other trees who are shorter than the palm tree, because palm tree is kind of a very high, very long tree. He wants to pierce the clouds so grey and soar away, but can he fly? Now he wants to pierce. He wants to go. He wants to make a hole in the clouds by his height. So you know what is the meaning of pierce? To make a hole in something. For example, we get a hole in our ears to put earrings. Mostly girls do, and now boys also do that. So that is ear piercing. Similarly, we do it with our nose. That is nose piercing. So whatever in when we make a hole in a very opaque thing, that process is known as piercing. So now this palm tree, because of his height, wants to go and pierce the cloud and then go into the sky and soar away, and he wants to run away, but can he fly? If we want to go into the sky, one thing that we should know is we should know how to fly, but since we don't have wings and we have not given the power by God to go around in the sky, we cannot do that. Similarly, the tree also cannot do that, and this is just the imagination of the poet, because there is no tree in the world which can go into the sky and pierce the cloud. At length his wish he starts to spread around his head in big round fronds. And now what the poet is saying, that at length his wish, he can grow as much as it wants, right? So the length of the palm tree is according to its wish, and and around his head in the big round frowns, as you can see in the picture, that there are trees just on the head of the tree, right? In palm tree, the leaves are grown just at the top of the tree. So now according to the poet, these are the big round fronds which is on the head of the tree. Big round fronds means the long leaves. Okay, palm tree always has long trees. It does not have small leaves like this peepal tree, neem tree and banyan tree has. Palm tree always has big long wings, long leaves, which now poet thinks that are fronds which are on the head of the palm tree, because it is at the top, because the leaves are at the top of the tree. He thinks they are wings to let him roam away from home, breaking all bonds. And now according to the poet, the tree thinks that these big fronds, these big leaves are the wings which will let them to go around in the sky and fly, and he can break all the bonds. He can come out of the from the soil and can go into the sky. The livelong day the branches quiver, sigh and shiver, he thinks he flies. And now what does the poet think? That the tree might think that whenever the air is passing through him and the leaves starts to trembling, okay, whenever the wind passes and the leaves starts to trembling, they quiver, they shake very strongly, and they shiver, they tremble. So he thinks that the wind is making him fly. As the leaves trembles, he thinks that he is flying into the sky. In his own mind, skirting the scar, racing afar across the skies. This everything is going on in his own mind. Okay, everything that is going on is going on in the tree's mind, and nobody is actually watching the tree fly in the sky. Okay, so it is on his own mind that he is skirting the stars and he is racing afar. He is going around in the sky. He is going far and far and crossing the sky, reaching to the stars. This is all the things that are going in tree's mind. It is not happening in real. But when the wind is still at last and the leaves hushed back homeward then. So now what he's saying, when the wind has stopped and is at still at last. Still at last means when the leaves are still at their place. At the end, when the wind has stopped, now the leaves are not trembling, they are not quivering, they are hushed. Okay, they have kept quiet, and now they are just relaxed and they are not moving. At that point of time, he turns his thoughts, and Mother Earth that gave him birth he loves again. So now the leaves are not moving, they are still at their place, and now the tree thinks that okay, this is the time that I should come back to my thoughts. I should come back to my reality. And what is it? The reality of a tree, that he loves his mother because he is attached to it, and because of the Mother Earth, the tree is standing all alive and joyful. So now he wants to come back to Mother Earth and give him all of his love. So this was the poem that was written by Rabindranath Tagore, and also the end of my video. So in my next video we'll be doing the exercises and the question answers of this poem. And now I expect all of you to read this poem and ask the doubts. If you have any, you can write the doubts in the comment section, and then I can clear them in my next video. So I'll see you all next week. Till then, take care and keep studying. Thank you.